Alrighty folks, welcome back to another Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. We're going to be rocking out with some Grey Knights versus the Adeptus Mechanicus today. And both of us are trying out some kind of wonky lists, so I think you guys are going to have a good time, should enjoy this. Hopefully it'll all go the way we both plan and be for a good game. Alrighty folks, here we have the Grey Knights. I've got 2,000 points. I'm going to play with a double patrol, and we're going to try out the Sword Bearers again. It's been a little while since I used them, but it should be some fun. I've got 15 Interceptors. This is technically one big squad, but I will probably combat squad them. We've got 3 Dread Knights back here. The guy without shoulder pads is supposed to be using his Incinerator today, and so I just kind of put it on his back for now. And then this guy also has an Incinerator. This is all due to points, because I'm trying some funky stuff. This one does have the Psy Cannon and Silencer, and then the Grandmaster Dread, he has what he has on him. He also has the Sigil, so he can teleport when targeted and shooting once per game. And the Servant of the Throne points upgrade, which is a 3-up invul for 1 turn of a game. We've got Tech Marine over here just to help out with some keeping things alive and giving a better weapon skill, or ballistic skill to a unit. And then I've got the Brotherhood Captain. He's my Warlord, so he's going to be giving out the OBSEC bubble. He is also going to give the reroll 1s to wound bubble. He is, walking around with a Cuirass of Sacrifice for the +1 to his save and a 5-up Feel No Pain. And also, what was the last thing? Oh, he has the Foretelling of Locust. I don't like to ever leave home without it now, so he can redeploy, or I can redeploy 3 core units, which is everything except for these 3 guys. 2 units of Strike Marines, because you gotta have those for patrol. And my brand new, not quite painted yet, not Venerable. I keep wanting to call them Venerable Dreadnoughts because I only ever played them as that before. But these guys are going to be regular Dreadnoughts. I learned recently that Venerable Dreadnoughts do not gain any of the benefits of their Brotherhood. They are considered an honored knight. So I did some shifting, saved some points, and here we have it. So they all have the Stormbolter, they all have a heavy plasma cannon, and they all have the Dreadnought combat weapon. It is very similar to a Doomglaive if you are a Grey Knights aficionado, but of course it's just going to be a combat weapon. So that is that. Sword Bearers, here we go. I'm hoping this gives me some anti-tank, some vehiculars for maybe doing engage, just trying out some new things. So we'll be back in just a second to check out the Adeptus Mechanicus. Okie dokie, here we have the Adeptus Mechanicus. You will see right away something unusual in an AdMech list. So this is all going to be Forge World Mars, except for this guy, and he was House Tyrannus, you said? Sure, why not? Because if the rules are a little bit odd, but he doesn't get to benefit from the Mars stuff, and you got to spend the CP to bring him. You know how that works. The good news for me is that his little Tech Priest and Engine Seers, whatever, can't do any good stuff to that guy, so, you know, that gives me a fighting chance. We got these 3 boys, the Chicken Walkers, with their las cannon equivalents, doing what they're going to be doing. What are they officially? They're the Ballistari?
Yeah.
Iron Strider?
Yes. Yeah, they're Ballistari.
Cool. We've got Dune Crawlers, and these guys are with the weapons that you see on them. We got a couple of characters. This is the Marshal. He's the Warlord. You got the Manipulus hiding right there. He's not hiding. I don't know why I'm saying that. I haven't even started the game. And a Tech Priest Engine Seer hanging out right there. And behind that, we've got some Raiders. We've got some Taraxi, flamey bat people. Yeah, they're flaming goodness is what they are. We got a squad of 5 Vanguard, squad of 5 Rangers. This is a squad of 10 Vanguard. We got to find a couple of models. Sal got here and realized he had some things in a different container, so that's okay. They'll just die first, and that's fine. They're not actually priests. We got a squad of 10 Rangers and a squad of 5 Infiltrators.
6.
Oh, sorry, that is 6. Right, yes, right. It's just the wrong base. It's 6. We have models, we think, on the way. And then we got the transport. And this time, the copter here is the Stratoraptor. So not trying the mortal wounds thing on me today. This time, instead, he's going to do the las cannon goodness from fast attack kind of stuff. So that's your 2,000 points. I did forget to ask you, actually. Warlord traits.
Exemplar's Eternity.
Okay.
For rerolls on 1 and wounds and hits. And The warlord trait is going to be multitasking cortex, so you can do an action and shoot.
Oh, that's nice.
And then he has a warlord trait and a relic,
Yes.
giving him a 4-up invul against shooting and a 2-up save.
Yes, I was getting to that next, so covered it all. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this. This will be a wild game. So both of us playing with a list that's not your typical list should be a good time. Well, lots and lots and lots of fun with this. So we'll be back in a minute. We will show you the deployment and the mission, and then we'll get some things kicked off. Alrighty, folks, we've rolled up. We've deployed. We've got, if you haven't started to recognize it from the objectives already, Data Scry, mission number 13 in the new book. So the deployment zones, you go, 20 or 15 down from that side, 20 down from that side, so it makes this cute angle right here. And the same on the other side. And then the objective markers, there's 6 in this, so it is a hold 2 and hold more. Hold 2, hold 3, hold more. So there's 4 right down the middle. Then you've got 1 in each deployment zone. The way the mission bonus works is you can have a unit start an action on this objective. Then at the end of your turn, however many you control in no man's land. So out of these 4 in the middle here, however many of those you control at the end of your turn, you will score bonus points for, as long as that unit that started the action here is still doing the action here on this home objective. So data scry or data intercept. Kind of interesting one, so it kind of makes you get out and play. And then you also have sticky objectives. So if you hold it with a unit that has the objective secured ability in your command phase, you can walk off of it and still control it in the next turn. So that's going to be interesting. We also have to report that I am taking Purify Ritual, I'm taking Grind Them Down, and I'm taking Bring It Down. Everything that I really want to kill in his army is all a vehicle anyways, so I might as well make points on that. Grind Them Down, I really don't know, but also is less sure about engage on all fronts with this list, so we'll see. For his side, he's taking Stranglehold, which is one that he doesn't do often. So he's kind of nervous about that one. Abhor the Witch is kind of an obvious choice when you're playing against Grey Knights and don't have Psychers, and he's doing R&D, Retrieving of the Nockmund Data. So, yeah, this is going to be some fun stuff. You can see AdMech are out, in force, infiltrators infiltrating, sitting on the first floor. This terrain is actually really cool, but it also happens to have a bookshelf that blocked him from getting onto the objective, which we thought was kind of funny. So those guys are actually down on the first floor. We got some raiders up front. You can see these dudes are all here. In the party castle in the middle, we got lots of bodies. We got a couple of characters tucked around in the back here, some tanks. Big old knight right up in the front, and then there's another unit back there, and there's a unit of 10. Are they rangers that are in the transport? Vanguard in the transport, and your Taraxi dudes are going to be dropping in on bat like wings later. For my side, we've got a Dread Knight, got a whole bunch of Dreadnoughts, Dread Knights, Captain, Tech Marine, Strike Squad, Interceptor Squad there. Got another Interceptor Squad way back here, hiding behind the dense cover, and 1 Dread Knight out here, just to see what will happen. And we shall roll and see who is going to go first. So, Sal, being the guest, feel free to roll. He has rolled...
That's a 6.
Oh, man, he rolled a 6. Well, let's see what I can get. I've rolled it across the table into a 1. Fabulous. I apparently did not want to go first. We'll be back. AdMech, turn 1 in just a second. End of the AdMech turn 1. So some obvious things happened. These dudes over here, those guys advanced. The infiltrators sat still. They did R&D because that's a squad of 6. So that R&D is done for this quarter. These guys advanced, or I mean, they didn't even advance. They just moved fast. So they got up into the dense cover to give a little protection there and take another objective. Big ol' scary las cannons came forward. That tank got the +1 to hit, right, from the Manipulus. Mm-hmm. Knight came stomping around. Everybody else kind of chillaxing back there in the corners. This little squad, they came up, sat on that objective, and then the transport sitting on this one. So mission bonus was not much of a problem because he accomplished it with that unit back there on the objective, and he's holding 4, so it's max of 3. And then we got the big bird. Oh my goodness. So this dude flies up. I used to have a Dreadnought sitting here. He one-shotted him with his las cannon thingamajiggers and did more wounds than necessary to kill it, just like that. And I was very fortunate because he went ahead and declared all his weapons into him because he did math wrong. I'm so happy with that. I am not sad at all. So anyways, that guy came up and just destroyed him. And I don't get to see if that Dreadnought would have done a thing. Oh, it's kind of sad. This guy took all the shooting from the knight, could just kind of pull line of sight across here, and the chickens, and the tank in the back. He made all his saves because we chose to be in the Tide of Shadows, and he failed one, which was a D3 plus 3 wounds. That's why I'm down to 7 wounds left. He did a good old 6 wounds. And then, let me see. Oh, and then I had to CP reroll one because I kind of like them to be on their top bracket as long as possible. So I did a spin to CP to reroll that, and I made the save that second time around. So that is why everything is the way it is right now. So Sal started off with 3 points on Stranglehold. He completed R&D with the squad of infiltrators in the building. He got the mission bonus for a max of 3. Pretty healthy start when you get right down to it. And now, I'm going to see what these here Grey Knights can do for Grey Knights turn 1. Well, the Grey Knights turn 1 is over. We went ahead and cast Empiric Amplification onto the Chopper, Archaeopter, Saras, whatever. Stratoraptor, thank you. I was stumbling around eventually. Most everything stayed still. He did the Empiric Amplification. I then spent a command point for him to cast the Gate of Infinity, which he cast onto this Dread Knight that had the Incinerator and Silencer. And after many deliberations, I was tempted to go over here to try to help get some charges off into this stuff here. Ended up settling on going back here. So he went back there, he then cast Hammerhand on himself, and then he made a nice, perfectly 9-inch charge into the Dune Crawler, which Sal did Overwatch with, but I did not take wounds from that. And he did wound me, technically, with his stomps back, but I dodged it because I'm cool like that, or something. Over here, the Interceptors came forward. These are the ones that were inside this building up on the wall. They moved up their 12, which got them to roughly here, and then I cast Ethereal Castigation on them. So they shot, killed all but 2 of the Rangers. Vanguard. They were Vanguard that were over there. Moved into the building, so they're not on the second floor. They're down on the bottom, but they're on the objective and hidden from line of sight except for everything that's going to pile out of that transport over there and shoot them in the face. So that's going to be cute when it happens. But it did give me a single point on Data Scry, Data Intercept. Huzzah, because I did the action with these guys. And then it occurred to me belatedly that if I just moved like my captain over here or one more unit onto this objective, I could have purified at least 1 ritual, but I have no purify points right now, so that's a thing. These guys shuffled back a little bit, so what I did is I moved this dude around to get out of the way so this guy could get in the center. I was going to put the Shadow of Undying Legends, which is Wisdom of the Ancients, to reroll wounds on him, and then I remembered that the captain already does that, and these are all core, and I almost did a big silly. So that's why they shuffled. They still had line of sight back into the Stratoraptor, and they had line of sight down into the chickens over there. In the end, it just took these 2 Dread Knights shooting into the big bird to kill it with the +1 damage. So then my 2 Dreadnoughts shot overcharged plasmas into those guys and killed 1 and took 1 down to almost, he's got 2 wounds left. So I killed 1.5 with those boys. And then I thought, man, imagine if I still had 3 Dreadnoughts. Rude man coming over and shooting my Dreadnought in the face. This guy came out, he sprinkled some shots into them, and he moved his full 9 inches, failed to charge. He was going to charge into the Rust Stalkers with the 9. I really wanted to get him off of at least 1 more objective and get rid of some more of his damaging units. But as it is, this poor soul will be sacrificed to the greater good, I guess. Did I do any other spells? Well, I have some spells here. This guy has the Armored Resilience for a +1 save. I did put Sanctuary on this guy who's kind of out in the open. I think that covers everything. I got Bring It Down points for killing the Flyer. And I did get Grind Them Down because the last remaining guy, oh, that was embarrassing. Dread Knight over yonder put all of his weaponry, the Incinerator and the Silencer, into the 2 guys over there. He killed 1. It was not magnificent. And then that guy ran away on a mighty 6. So I ended up with that objective, but that's not how I would have chosen to do it. Oh yes, and I did change the tides of the warp. So I changed into the tide of celerity to give myself extra help making charges. Doesn't matter when you roll a 5 and a 3. That's what he did with a CP reroll. I had to spend a lot of CP. I did spend for the captain to have the +1 bubble for 6 inches around him for casting, which I needed because I have 3 of the 4 spells that went off here only went off because I had the +1 from him. Otherwise, I would have been hanging out in the wind. So it was worth it, but I'm down to 4 command points now, which is pretty typical in a Grey Knights game. But I've killed some things and tied up some things, so it's not the end of the world. So we'll be back in a minute with AdMech turn 2. All right, so it's the end of AdMech turn 2. We're going to try this again because my camera shut off for no apparent reason. Back here, I lost Dreadnought to the shooting from the chickens over there. Then the tank back here got the +1 to hit and shot into my Dread Knight. After that, Dunecrawler ran away from him. He did some wounds. These guys here did R&D, but they got the buff from the Warlord to do an action and shoot. And then I think it was the Manipulus actually that killed him. Yeah, he got a pot shot off and I failed my save and 3 flat damage. That squad, the other smaller squad, is doing the mission bonus one, so they did not shoot. Over here, probably easy to see, I just forgot to say it. This big boy, he came walking up, he was about there, made a 3-inch charge into the Dread Knight that had 6 wounds left. He swung in, well actually he just did the mighty swings, and I failed 2 saves, it was kind of sad. And he killed him, real dead. 6 flat damage, pretty cool. And in the new book, from what I've been hearing, they will have more attacks of the regular, like their strong ones. They're actually going to get a fair number for the type of weaponry they're hoisting, so that's going to be cool to see. Over here, what else did we do? I think that was it. Over here, everybody piled out of this boat and sat on the objective in the dense terrain. The Taraxi came down. All this stuff shot into my interceptors. I'm still alive. It was fabulous. Wrath of Mars, he did on the big unit of Vanguard, and I lost 2 guys to that. I was pretty sad. He rolled hot on Wrath of Mars, and I didn't shrug very many of those. And then the rest of them just were beasts and stayed there. I did not fail morale, and these guys failed to charge with a reroll, and he lives to fight another day, or smite, or something. Actually, what he's going to do is score me a purifying ritual point, sir. That's what he's going to do. So that's it. So it was not a bad turn at all for the AdMech. He's now killed off 4 units for Abhor the Witch. Got Stranglehold twice. He picked up another 3 for the mission bonus because obviously he's still holding 3 of the 4 in the center. That's it. We'll be back, as my dog sings to us, we'll be back in a minute for the Grey Knights turn 2. Alrighty, so it's the end of the Grey Knights turn 2. We did do the hitbacks. So on the Psychic phase, I did Empiric Amplification onto the Big Knight. Then we did Hammerhand on this guy. And I healed this dude up for 1 whole wound. That was spectacular. I always feel bad when the Tech Marine only does 1 wound. Psychic phase, we did Purify Ritual with those boys, because you can do that with enemies around. That's cool. I think it's fair and not cheating at all. At least it gave me a point on a secondary. These guys moved up. We did do a lot of smites, and ironically enough, we did 2 super smites and a regular smite for like 9 mortal wounds, and Sal spent the CP to shrug on a 5-up, right? And he shrugged a few of them, but it still was a good, I think I did 5 or 6 mortal wounds out of that.
1 or 2.
Yeah, it was great. So I started off pretty good with that. These guys all sat still. This group kind of shuffled around to make way for the Tech Marine to get through to heal him and then to be able to charge in and do some business there. But also, we changed the tides with the Tech Marine, so we went into the tide of, can't remember the name of it, but it's the one where our Nemesis weapons do a mortal wound on a 6 to wound, and extra range on the Psi weapons, which was important because that allowed me to shoot into the chicken walkers over there, and I got rid of them. So that made my day. Over here, I did deep strike this squad of interceptors, and they were back here, 9 inches away. I cast the Ethereal Castigation on them. They killed 1.5 or 2.5, and they're shooting. Then this other interceptor squad here shot them as well, and we killed another one, and then one ran away. That was great. He's rolled 6s. Appreciate you, Sal. Yeah, 6s twice on morale. It's very nice. So that was kind of nice there. These guys still wholly unmolested in that building. This other interceptor, he just kind of came out of the building, so those guys can't shoot straight into his face and murderize him without having to do some movements and stuff, and he did Purifying Ritual, so I was able to score 2 for that. And a bunch of not grind them down, but bring it down points. And that's really it. So, oh, and I scored 0 primaries. I'm not happy about that, but yeah, Sal did a good job of jumping on everything with bodies, and I'm gonna have to fight all the way through the end of the game if I'm alive through the end of the game to be able to catch anything back up with that. So that's the end of my turn. We'll be back for almost at Grey Knight's turn 3. Just skip your turn. We'll just go straight to Grey Knight's turn 3. We'll be back for AdMech turn 3 in a second. Well, the AdMech turn is done. This guy, he took a wound from that tank. I snicker and Sal snorts. Man, being T7 was kind of cool. And it didn't hurt that guy just, he whiffed a lot of shots. I did lose my interceptor over there. These guys came around the corner and said bye-bye, but I only died by 2 wounds. Like, I could have CP rerolled one and potentially stayed alive. However, that was set up to shoot him, as was, I think, the Manipulus back there could have seen him probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't, and they couldn't shoot anything else, so it wasn't like I was keeping something else alive. So I decided that was a poor choice on my CP spending. So everything back there, they did their the mission bonus action back there. This little squad did R&D, so we've got 3 out of the 4 quarters now. Over here we had the Raider. He just moved backwards to get a little bit further away from these guys. All the infiltrators shot that he shot, did Wrath of Mars. These guys went crazy on the save rolls, and I lost a single dude. That was my turn, apparently, for the saving throws, at least. So good for me. However, I'm still not shifting Sal off of any of the objectives anywhere. So he scored another 3 on the mission bonus, picked up another 12 on primary, and Stranglehold again for 3. It's kind of like I need to make turns 3, 4, and 5 count a lot, or I'm never ever going to win the game. So here we go. Grey Knight's turn 3 next. It is the end of Grey Knight's turn 2. Apparently I can't remember how to use my stuff, and I turned off another video. These guys did Purifying Ritual. He did Purifying Ritual. They did the mission bonus action. He cast Sanctuary on this Dreadnought. Then the Tech Marine, I forgot to roll for that, but he healed him, because that was all the reason why he's up there. This guy cast Gate of Infinity onto this one. He cast Hammerhand. Just did a lot of moving and repositioning. Got him in a spot where he could potentially make a horrifically long charge there, or a short charge into the infiltrators, whichever I needed to try. These guys moved forwards, smote the Raider to death. These guys did Purifying Ritual there, then made a charge and killed all but one of these guys, and Sal kindly rolled yet another 6 on morale, so that guy left. 3 6s in a row. Yeah. We'll just mention that again, just because it's fun to rub it in. The only real big problem with this is I failed 2 6-inch charges with these guys. I tried twice. They needed a 7, to get into there. I rolled a 6 2 times, which meant that I had to abandon this objective. And because I'm not OBSEC, I don't control it, because these are sticky objectives, but only for OBSEC units. So I had to give up that to get him off of this, to kind of shut down some of his scoring potential. He's still going to kill me on primary, but we'll see. All of this stuff, we moved around, cast Armored Resilience and Sanctuary on him. This dude, he did the business with his guns, shooting into that there tank. This guy, with the help of Psychic Onslaught, finished off the tank. We killed that. Over here, the Grandmaster shot and killed the last of the Taraxi after these boys who deep struck killed all but one of them. And the Grandmaster also put his heavy shots into that and did a bunch of wounds, so it's down to 6 remaining, I believe. Then I failed another charge. So I failed 3 9-inch charges or less in this turn. These were another one. They were aiming at that to try to take him off of that objective. It wouldn't have mattered if I charged that or this. I guess this would have been smart because that would have been OPSEC, but that would have been safer back there. Either way, I failed the charge, so it doesn't matter. I failed every charge. I did spend Cybolt ammunition on them, and I spent Haloed and Soul Fire to give them -1, maybe keeps them alive for another turn. That's it. So that was that. I scored a couple for Purify, a couple more for Bring It Down, and a couple for Grind Them Down. But still very slow on the primary front. And I picked up 2 for the mission bonus after I killed the Infiltrator squad. So, you know, that's that. We'll be back for AdMech turn 4. Alrighty, folks, here we go. We are done with AdMech turn 4. So things are still alive, thank goodness. This guy did take a lot of shots from a mean old Doomcrawler right there. All of these dudes with their, it's a CP, right, that gives them the extra range
shot.
and
Well,
or
just
it
an
makes
extra
it.
shot.
That's what it
command
is.
thing to
It's
give them the extra
just
range.
that gun that's scary with the -2. Anyways, I went down. I lost 6 wounds from all of those, so he's still okay-ish for there. Over here, the Haloed and Soulfire came in clutch, and my Mortal Wound Shrugging helped from this nasty mob right here that has come to ruin my day. They walked away from the objective because they can. I have 3 boys left after all of that, and all of this shooting over here. The tank also shot them. So that's where we're at. This is the only turn I've had where I didn't lose a whole unit. It's nice. So he did score again 12 on primary. It's making me sad. He picked up 2 for the mission bonus because he still controls that one and holds this one. And those boys back there did the mission bonus. Not doing R&D this turn because you'd have to be back here, and that's going to be real tricky. So that's where we're at. It is going to be my turn 4 in a minute. But it's going to be real close when we get to the end of this game. I don't know if I can actually come back on points or not, so we'll see. We'll be back with the Grey Knights turn 4 in a second. Alright, so the Grey Knights turn 4 is ended. Brother Captain over here, he cast Sanctuary on this guy before he disappeared. We'll talk about that in a second. These guys did the mission bonus. He did Purify Ritual again and healed him, so he's fully healthy once again. He stomped forwards to be able to shoot into the guys in the building and then forgot to shoot at the guys in the building. That was embarrassing. But he did put his side cannon in there and killed that Doomcrawler. The Doomcrawler saved the heavy plasma overcharge shot from him and then died to that guy. It was glorious. I did spend my 1 command point for Psychic Onslaught, so he done did his thing. This Dread Knight, who is still alive, has moved himself up here. He cast Hammerhand. He did some shooting. We whittled these guys down to 2 left. He whittled this down to just 4 wounds, I think, on the Dune Rider, and then charged in and killed it. Those guys got shot by all of this in the building over here. So these interceptors, and hello, Captain. He's here because now they are OBSEC, which means now they can leave these objectives and I still control them. Big brain plays. It took me till turn 4 to get rid of his interference over there, deep strike the captain. And I also didn't want to move him earlier because I was getting the reroll 1s to wound over here, which I kind of needed to clear out tanks and other stuff over there. But that was cool, so I'm excited about that. Sal rolled a 1 for morale. That was amazing. He lost so many of those guys, and then he finally made a morale. I took a mortal wound from an explosion from this here transport. He took 2 on the Manipulus. I took another 1 on my strike squad. He lost 2, I think, in that squad. And then in here, my boys did a lot of shooting. Didn't kill much, and then in combat, I rolled so badly it was embarrassing. I only killed 2 guys in melee, but then the explosion killed some, and then Sal was his old faithful self and rolled another 6 on morale. So he lost enough there that I still get to own this point. Yes, much to some chagrin there. That's it. So at the end of this turn, I picked up 3 on the mission bonus for once. I still only scored 4 points on primary. It's painful. I'll at least score primary next turn, but it's brutal. I did max out, bring it down, so I'll get 14 on that. I got grind him down again, and I cast Purify Ritual on 4 objectives for the mighty 6 points for that one. So that was good. And now it is going to be Sal's turn 5. End of the game is nigh. I still just, if I were to guess, assume I can't win this at this point, but it's going to be close, and it's pretty exciting. So we'll be back for Admech turn 5. Well, it is the end of Admech turn 5. Big Brain right here fell out of combat to get all 4 of his bodies on that objective because I only have 3 left. So he stole that back, which doesn't matter, sort of, because I held him to 4 for primary, but it did matter for the mission bonus. So it gave him the extra mission bonus point there. Everything here shot into my Dread Knight and killed it. I don't know, why he thought that was necessary. I don't know, but no, it really was kind of a big deal. So Dread Knight's gone. And that was the turn. So he scored 2 more for the mission bonus. Excuse the dog serenading. He's been quiet up until now, of course. He got 2 more for mission bonus. He got 2 for the Aboard the Witch, and that was it on that turn. So we'll come back for my turn 5 and see what I can get accomplished. Alrighty, guys, the game is over. Not too much to say. Just moved the Tech Marine back to get back into some safety. He did Purifying Ritual here. They did the mission bonus action again. These guys over here did Purifying Ritual. Captain moved up, purified there, and then we cast Purify with these boys that were still alive. They moved out to get on that objective, giving me another 6 on that one, which is kind of nice. Over here, these guys and the captain and these guys all had to shoot those 2 little dudes, the 2 little rangers that were there, to kill them. So I killed them, and then with my Gate of Infinity, Dreadnought back there, he popped up and shot and killed the Manipulus over here, which gave me grind him down, and then there's not any point in playing out the rest. I did roll to see if he made his charge, and he would have made his charge over there, so that was fun. And that's it. So, end of the game. I took one of my buddy's advice. Shout out to Ruben here. I played as we discussed, and it worked so much better. Except, in a weird way, with this, I think it has more to do with this map.
Yeah.
The deployment zones, being able to only really protect my stuff back there, I was so pinned in, it took me too long to be able to get out and to really start pressuring up the board. It was weird. It's weird. Gate of Infinity, and then of course the OBSEC, that was the other thing that held me back, because I couldn't get OBSEC on this stuff until turn 4 to be able to move the rest of my stuff. It was funny. The deployment kind of hit me a little bit, but the list played really well, and it was a lot of fun. So in the end of the game, one Dreadnought was still alive. He didn't even get shot at the whole game. So it was definitely better, as far as how I play, it definitely went better for me. However, I still lost, so hats off to Sal for playing a good game. It was 79 to 87. It was really close. But look at the secondaries. That's the only thing that kept me alive. And Purify Ritual, if you can cast it 4 times, gives you 6 points a turn. Helped a lot. Grind them down and then bring it down also helped. But my primaries, so bad. I didn't score any turn 1. It's a hold 2, hold more. It was brutal. Sal maxed out on that primaries, and then he just about maxed out on secondaries. So that was an excellent game, sir. Very much enjoyed it. And we were kind of joking about MVPs. He didn't really think that a whole lot of his units were MVPs, but he does have to give a shout out, honorable mention to the big old nasty knight who did come in and one-shot my Dread Knight. That was fun. That was a good time. And there's some more exploring he's going to do with that, how you can add in the knights to an AdMech list. We realized about halfway through the game that there's probably another way to play it that we weren't aware of before we started that might have made him more valuable. But it was fun, and I enjoyed having the Dreadnoughts. I really did, more than I thought I would.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it really did help. I fully expected to play Engage on all fronts and just drop Dreadknights in corners, and it ended up, this mission was terrible for that. But having that little cluster down here and just walking up the board and picking up a tank, I was really surprised. It went well, so I really like that. So I'll have to definitely get them painted. Right now they're sad that they weren't painted. That's what happened to that one guy that died real quick. So I hope y'all enjoy it. It was a super cool game. Thank you for coming out and hanging out and not being harassed by the dog too much. And hope you guys enjoy it too. We'll catch you next time on Kitchen Table Wargaming.